Do you wish you knew exactly how to write a sales post to attract soulmate clients using the most powerful gifts from your astrology chart? Well, guess what? Now you can learn how for free. I'm going to share my cosmic copywriting secrets that have helped people to instantly turn strangers on the internet into buyers for their high-ticket offers. In my 5-part training series, Cosmic Attraction Copywriting, you'll learn the mindset switch that takes my clients from feeling confused about their content or not feeling fully safe to share their story online to making sales more easily and naturally than ever before, with the astrological placement that unlocks a new level of depth in your storytelling that builds trust 10 times faster with the clients who are genuinely a very aligned fit to work with you. Plus, the messaging tweaks that take my clients from attracting people who can't afford it to easy sales into 5-figure offers with no sales calls. And you'll get clarity on the 3 things your soulmate clients need to hear from you consistently in your message to feel confident and excited to buy your offer. You'll also get my writing process prompts to share your story in a powerful way that stands out to the right people and leads to ready to buy clients popping up into your DMs asking to work with you. Click the link in the description for instant access to Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. What's up? This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a 6-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, welcome back to the Creative Magic Club podcast. I am your host, Sarah Mack, here to help you become a 6-figure creative by sharing authentic stories guided by astrology. And it's Libra season. The superpower of Libra is relationships. So I want to dive deep into this conversation to give you some shifts and breakthroughs and share my 3 non-negotiables for consistent high-ticket client attraction. So a concept that I found really helpful in my own business and with my work with clients in, just having those breakthroughs and understanding, like, how do we find clients? How do we connect with clients? Which clients to focus on? Which ones are the right ones for us? Which ones are the right ones for our offers? Like, there's so many shifts and insights and breakthroughs that help us to get to that place where we feel super clear and confident and consistent in our ability to sign clients into our high ticket offers and to really know who those people are and how do we connect with them? How do we communicate with them? And relationships, that we always just have so many questions about relationships, right? Like, they can be some of our biggest challenges in life. And there are so many similarities between our relationships with friends, our relationships with lovers, and our relationships with clients, and how we show up in relationships, how we nurture our relationships, how we not only set them up to thrive, but really get clarity on what we need and who our people are, and how to make sure that when we are making the effort to pour time and energy into a relationship, that it's with the right people, the relationships that are reciprocal, that are joyful, right? Like, our relationships determine the quality of our life, because when a relationship goes bad, it can just ruin our day, right? But when it goes right, it's literally the best thing on the entire planet. So it's really, really important to have a deep and detailed and nuanced understanding of how to elevate our client relationships, because this is truly what makes our business a business that we love and a life that we love. We spend so much time and energy with our clients and pouring into our client work, especially in high touch, high ticket business models. No matter what interactions you have, you want them to be with the people that you're so grateful that you got to interact with on this day, on this planet, you know, and people that you're inspired by and people that you really are lit up around serving and talking to. And it's so easy, especially when obviously our livelihood is dependent on our business and our ability to sign clients. We can get sucked into the numbers game. But this is your reminder that it is not a numbers game. It is a relationship game. And it honestly becomes so much more fun when we look at it this way. I know I have found this, and many of my clients feel the same way. As soon as we turn client signing and client attraction into a numbers game, it just sucks the life out of it. It can feel really transactional and we don't feel motivated to show up for it. And as soon as we put pressure and like high expectations, you know, we start to spiral, the resistance kicks in and we just want to hide under the duvet, right? So this has been one really key shift that has helped to create sustainability in my client attraction strategy, is to just see it as one more person at a time. How can I connect with one more person, have one more conversation? Because I love the people I connect to through my business. I love the clients that I work with. I love the conversations that we have from beginning to end of the relationship. And, you know, mastering sales and being able to have sales conversations in an authentic way is really, really key to that, but it can be done. What I'm about to talk to you today about, you know, this shift in really focusing on nurturing relationships, this is the key. This is the foundation that leads to sales conversations feeling like you're just talking to a bestie. So here is my sustainable content strategy for consistent client attraction. We have to have new connections. That is step one. Then we have to have conversations with those new people. This is where the relationships build. And then if you want them to work with you, if you want them to say yes to your offers, you have to extend an invitation. So let's break this down. Step one, the new connections. If we want our business to grow and for our income to grow and for it to maintain consistent through continual service of more people, we have to be continually connecting with new people. I talk about this a lot because the biggest hurdle that holds people back in connecting with clients is not having crystal clear clarity on who you want to meet, who you want to connect with, and how you want to help them. And this is why doing the work to get that crystal clear clarity on your offer is the most important work you can do. And we constantly have to feel connected to our offer and feel connected to the clarity of the solution that we want to provide to people. Because when we feel clear on that internally, the universe will start to deliver to you people that you can help in your offer. You know, I'm sure we've all heard of the reticular activating system. What we focus on, we notice, right? You're able to notice when someone is a good fit for your offer, when you know the criteria of who is a good fit for your offer, right? This happens all the time to me and my clients. As soon as we are clear on an offer, this is a problem I want to solve. These are the people I want to solve it for. And you get clear on that language. Suddenly people show up in my life and in my clients' lives, and they're like just verbatim telling them exactly what they've just decided their offer and, you know, the messaging is for their offer and for their pitch. And it feels like a very magical moment, right? Like I was just at the beach. I just made a new connection through this like walking networking club that I joined. And she was just starting her coaching business. And I kid you not, the words that came out of her mouth were, I just don't really understand how to put how I can help people into sales copy and sales pages. And I was like, well, you know, that's exactly how I help people, right? She was like, no, I did not know that. And I was like, awesome, let's talk about my offer. And this has been happening for me since day one in my coaching business. I remember the very first story when I just created my very first coaching program. I think it was my second coaching program. It was a low ticket money mindset for creatives membership that was like $25 a month. And I bumped into someone that I'd met at a networking thing. And she was walking in the street, down the main street of this very small town in upstate New York where I was living. She was crying. And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? She was like, I just feel so stressed about money. I just want to be able to pursue my writing. I just don't want to be stressed about this anymore. And I was like, oh, I literally just created an offer that can help you with this. And the Cosmic Copy Mastermind is the place to get the support that will bring your dream of becoming a six-figure creative to life in 2025 by selling your high-ticket offers with sales copy driven by stories and guided by astrology. Your goal is to fill your high-ticket offer with dreamy soul clients. But right now, you're wondering what exactly needs to shift in your content to start seeing consistent sales month after month, right? You're posting consistently, and maybe you're even getting great engagement, but you can't quite figure out why people aren't lining up to buy your life-changing offer. You know your work is incredible. Maybe you're even getting a ton of referral clients, but when it comes to putting your unique magic into words that clearly paint the picture of what it's actually like to work with you, it feels complicated. Or maybe you keep getting in your head about your high-ticket prices and thinking that that's the problem. Well, let me tell you, it's not your price. You're not alone in this. It's not easy to put your magic into clear copy that converts when you try to do it alone. I've made multiple six figures in my business and I've written copy for more than 1,000 entrepreneurs, and I continually invest in mentorship around messaging. Why? Because it makes it easier to consistently create content that leads to sales every month. That's why I created this mastermind, where we'll use your astrology chart to remind you of your unique genius, gifts, and personal story, using personalized prompts with my hands-on support and edits to translate all your magic into content that's building your six-figure brand in a way that feels authentic, aligned, and so much fun. This is my magic, helping you to attract deeply compatible clients through authentic storytelling driven by your unique astrology, and doing it in an inspiring community of other creative entrepreneurs making big moves, living life to the full, and building your version of a six-figure dream business. Message me the word mastermind on Instagram at SarahMacMagic for the full details. You know, obviously I'm putting myself out there, right? Like I'd made these connections but I wasn't walking down the street, you know, looking for clients, but I was able to recognize them when they show up in front of me. And then obviously being able to, you know, clearly extend an invitation, like that's how we take that relationship to the next level. And that first person I met who was crying about her money stress, she joined my membership. She was like an amazing client. She did all the work. She fully showed up. She integrated, she implemented. She had two $9,000 months, which was more than she'd ever had before. That's when I realized that I could be charging a lot more money for my work. It gave me a lot of confidence in what I was teaching. And that was when I launched my first high ticket offer. And she was the one that joined and she signed up. And she had the money to pay me $3,000 that I was charging for my 3-month one-on-one. So, you know, you just never know who you're bumping into that is going to come into your world and become a client. You know, I've met clients at friends' birthday picnics who have become long-term one-on-one clients. And, you know, I've even become a bridesmaid at one of my clients' weddings. Like, people show up, you know, and when you're clear about what you do, when you can confidently talk about your work, when you have a place to direct people, a social media channel, an email list, a free offer that just solves people's problems and guides them into your content system, they so seamlessly become clients when you've built up that clear conversation and that clear process through your content. So that's why offer clarity is so important from the start for knowing who you want to connect with and why. And there's so much power in intention. Setting a powerful intention. I want to serve these people. This is how I want to help. This is how I'm so excited to create solutions and create impact through my offers and my business, versus having a manipulation approach, which I'm sure we've all been taught that marketing approach where you go online and you hunt for clients, you know, like you're just scouring the internet looking for people who, like, checking people's Instagram accounts and looking for certain things, like, oh, they have this number of followers, or they do this, or they do that, or these are the types of things that they're talking about. And I've just found that that has never worked well for me. It's never felt good to me. It's never really resonated with my clients. Having a clear intention of service that you're really aligned with, that you're really excited by, and then backing it with really clear strategic content and connections and conversations. Because, you know, it's like the difference between going to a networking event and trying to give a business card to every single person in there and just like shove it in their hand, versus just setting, you know, an intention. When I go to a networking event, that has worked really well for me, is if I just make one great connection from this event, it was a win. If I even have one great conversation or just meet one interesting person, I'm not like scouring the room looking for someone who I think is going to be my ideal client and then trying to pitch them, you know, which just really sucks the joy and the fun out of relationships, right? So I bring the same approach to any relationship as I do to my client relationships. I want it to be fun. I want it to be genuine. I want it to be authentic. I want it to feel good. I want it to be pressure free and to naturally evolve at the pace that is healthy, right? And to trust that everything unfolds in the perfect timing. Like, this is one of my core business and life beliefs that really takes the pressure off. But I'm still willing to get outside of my comfort zone and to make the effort, right? And to start a conversation. But I don't start conversations from a place of I can't wait to get them to follow me on Instagram or to pitch my offer. I start with just the pure intention of connection. So that's all we really have to worry about with this step one, with connecting with new people, is just be connecting with new people. It doesn't matter if they're your dream client. It doesn't matter if they sign up right away. It doesn't matter if they want to follow you on Instagram or not. It doesn't matter if they join your email list, because maybe that connection is going to have a really profound conversation with you that's going to spark your inspiration or send you in a new direction. Maybe they're going to invite you to something where you're going to meet somebody else. And this is really just the power of networking and just having it as a continual thing that you are invested in building community, whether you're doing this in person or online. You know, all of my networking was done online in the beginning of my business, pretty much, because I was traveling the world in some random fucking places and I never knew where I was going to be. So a lot of the people that I were meeting were through online communities and events. Now I'm more rooted in one place. I'm a lot more invested in building in-person relationship. So there's no right or wrong way, as long as you're connecting with new people, as long as you're being in your community, right? We cannot do anything alone. And I think that's just the biggest thing that holds us back. Like, if something feels hard, we probably just haven't connected with the right people yet. On social media, I really grew my network and my following by just adding people every day on my Facebook, which is where I grew my business initially. So we don't have control about where these relationships will go, like with any relationship. And sometimes people will watch for years before ever buying from you. Sometimes people will never buy, and that's okay. But who knows what they're saying about you in rooms that you're not in, you know? If your branding is clear and on point, and they meet a friend who's like, oh my God, I just really need help with the sales copy for my coaching business, they'll be like, oh, there's this girl that I met and that's what she talks about all day long on her Instagram. I'm going to send it to you, right? So we have to be okay with the fact that 50% of all relationships are outside of our control, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen, whether you like it or not. But what you do have control over is my next step. So step one is the new connections. Step two is the conversation. So how does any relationship start? By sharing stories about yourself so they can get to know you, right? But unlike a personal relationship in your business, this is where you keep the conversation focused around how you can help them solve a problem that they are seeking to solve, which is really how you position your offer and your work and your brand storytelling. So you tell stories that let people get to know you through the very specific lens of why you are the person who can help them solve their problem. And think about when you've just met someone and you're standing in a room with them. If you just start like preaching at them everything you know, like, oh, I had this thing. This is like this. Here are some facts. And you just start like fire hosing them with information, you're probably not going to create that much connection, right? But when you lead from when you share personal stories, that's vulnerability. Vulnerability creates connection. People connect and respond so much more, and you become so much more memorable when you share something through a personal story. So instead of saying like, you know what you were talking about just then, I heard this thing that you should do it like this, and you'll probably have way more success if you tried this and stopped doing this, versus a story where you're like, I really resonate with what you said. I've been through the same thing. Here's my story about what, that relates to what you were talking about. They're going to instantly feel seen. They're going to instantly feel connected. There's going to be follow-up questions. When you've led with vulnerability, people then feel like they can share more information about themselves, which leads to more connection, more understanding of who this person is. Fast forward the relationship and deepen the relationship so much more quickly. So that's the approach that we want to think about in all of our conversations, in our content, in our emails, in our live streams, our podcasts, wherever it is that we're showing up and we're talking about our work. Lead from to create that connection. So we also want to very intentionally and explicitly prioritize the stories most relevant to the problem your offer solves. Then, if your new connections can benefit from your work, it's going to make that extremely obvious. And that brings me to the final step, which is the invitation. So some people don't have great relationships because they suck at this. And the same thing goes for sales. A relationship revolves around invitations. So think about a personal relationship. Hey, do you want to go for coffee? Do you want to come over for dinner? Do you want to come with me on this trip? Relationships consist of time shared, memories made, and lives built together. One day, one moment, one conversation at a time. If your partner never invites you on a date, your relationship deteriorates. You feel taken for granted. You focus more on the mundane day-to-day challenges and triggers. But when you go out and you make an amazing memory together, that's the energy that fills your inner perception of that person and the moments of the life that you share. When it comes to friendships, as someone who has immigrated to 2 countries, to Canada and the US, who has spent considerable time in more than 18 countries in the past 10 years, and even more before that, and I've moved homes from Toronto to Vancouver to Montreal to New York to upstate New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, and LA. I've been all over the place, and I've learned a few things about making new friends and building community and cultures that are different from where I'm from. I have had to be the person who has to be willing to go first over and over and over and over again, and to not take rejection personally. To make friends, to lose friends, to start almost from scratch over and over again, I've had to send out invitation after invitation after invitation to find the people who want to be friends with me enough to start sending invitations back my way. And I learned that to get what I want, which is lovely friends who invite me to stuff that I love to do, I have to be willing to put myself out there and try. And yes, sometimes do things or hang out with people that did not tick all of my boxes, but were a step in a better direction than sitting at home being lonely. So I've poured into friendships that turned out not to be reciprocal and learned to phase out people who didn't meet me in the ways I wanted to be met. And I keep going until I find what I'm looking for. And I have so many friendships that have not stood the test of time or geographic distance. And I found soul connections that the best friendships I could ever wish for that have lasted, no matter how many thousands of miles apart we are. I make amazing new friends in every new chapter of my life, but we never get to find those gems that become some of the best memories of our lives if we're not willing to go first and make the invitation. So how does this apply to attracting clients? Just like my story about building friendships, the same goes for clients. The more invitations you make, the more no's and mismatches you're going to move through to get to those life-changing relationships. And obviously, once we figured out what works, then it's so much easier to replicate that and to find more of the same and to do more of the same things that got you to connect with those types of people. So If you want to make more money in your business, make invitations every day, sell every day, have invitations going out to someone, somewhere. And this is really the main function of your content, of evergreen content pieces that are doing the work for you 24/7 after you hit publish. Also, live conversations, in person, virtual, face-to-face, one-to-many, right? Your job is to create as many opportunities to invite people to work with you as possible. And as we know, like none of these things work without the other, right? Like they all work in tandem. You can't just walk around being like, hey, do you want to join my high ticket program that helps you fill your 5 to 10K offer with copywriting based on your astrology chart, right? If I haven't made a new connection, had a conversation with someone to figure out who they are, let them know who I am, like no one's just going to be like, oh, hey, they're going to be like, who's this crazy person, right? It's like walking up to someone that you've just met and being like, hey, do you want to go on vacation with me? Like, no, all of these steps work together. So these are the 3 pretty much daily non-negotiables if you want to consistently grow your business and income. Number 1, the new connection. Number 2, the conversation. And number 3, the invitation. And obviously, doing these things consistently, you're going to build your skill set. You're going to see what works. You're going to build your confidence. It's going to get easier and easier and easier. And you're going to find the ways that really work for you. You can pick the ways that are more fun, and you can be like, oh, that wasn't really fun. This type of networking, this type of creating new connections, turns out that's not really fun or sustainable for me. So I'm going to scratch that and I'm going to go all in on something else. And this is how I grew a business from scratch, starting with a network of 0 as a new immigrant, and have made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing work I love with absolutely incredible clients from all over the world. Well, I've traveled all over the world and lived such an incredible life doing it. So many of the client connections that I've made, they've become friends for life. And that to me is just like such an honor and such a privilege. And I'm so inspired by all of my clients and everyone in my audience and my community who I connect with. I'm just so grateful that my business really has become a vehicle for some of the most important and expansive relationships in my life. So our relationships really are everything. Yes, they can feel extremely challenging at times, but the fruits of our labor of really committing to great relationships makes for such a beautiful and worthwhile life and business. So if this is something that you're ready for some more support around, to build the skills to make new connections in ways that are fun and sustainable for you, then to have the conversations and get good at creating irresistible invitations that attract the right clients into your high ticket offers with ease. This is exactly the work we do inside the Cosmic Copy Mastermind, where you'll finally find the words that capture your magic so you can confidently attract dream clients into a 5 to 10K plus offer. And we do this by using your astrology chart to remind you who the fuck you are, how epic your magical work and story is, so you can trust that and put that into your brand storytelling that magnetizes the kinds of clients who can't get enough of your work and are super excited to pay you high ticket prices because it's so obvious to them how valuable it is to work with you. So go to withsarahmac.com or click the link in the description to apply. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at SarahMacMagic with any questions at all. And join me next week, or I'll be sharing how I grew my audience by hundreds with my simple, chill, anti-hustle, not traditional marketing approach to podcast guesting, and which astrological transits to pay attention to grow your audience with impact and ease. I hope you've loved this episode. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know. Ping me an email. I love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please, please, please go and leave a review on iTunes. It really supports the show. And I'm sending you so much love. Bye.